Have you ever had that feeling of being stuck on a loop, like you're going through the same situation over and over without knowing why? Maybe you're reaching for goals that constantly slip through your fingers, or there's this strange emptiness inside, like you're missing that one crucial piece that would make everything click. Well, what if I told you that this very conversation could be that missing piece? Carl Jung famously said that nothing in life happens by chance, and once you truly grasp this idea, it can change how you see everything. It's like solving a mystery that's haunted you for years. You see, the moment you were born, something bigger was at play, not just your first breath, but the start of a deep and meaningful connection between you and the universe itself. Your birth wasn't random. It holds clues about who you genuinely are, what motivates you, and even the challenges you'll encounter throughout life. Now I get it. To some this might sound like superstition or something mystical, but Carl Jung wasn't just anyone. He was one of psychology's greatest minds. He talked about something called the collective unconscious, a hidden web of symbols and archetypes connecting our individual experiences to something much bigger. Think about it. How many times have you ignored clear signs, or felt misunderstood but couldn't pinpoint why? You might have chased after relationships, success, distractions, anything to fill that void, but it never really worked. That lingering dissatisfaction you feel might stem from something simpler yet deeper. You might be living against your true nature. The secret to realigning with your genuine self starts with something surprisingly simple: the month you were born. Cultures all around the world have believed for thousands of years that the moment of birth shapes our paths, not in a rigid, predetermined way, but as part of a bigger rhythm, just like the changing seasons. Think of how each season carries its own special meaning. Winter calls us inward to reflect, spring brings renewal, summer fuels growth, and autumn prompts introspection. Similarly, your birth month carries a distinct energy. It influences your personality, choices, passions, and even your deepest fears. But here's the catch. If you don't understand this unique energy, you might unintentionally work against it instead of leveraging it. Jung discovered that many of our inner conflicts happen because we're disconnected from what he termed universal archetypes, these profound, underlying patterns guiding our perceptions and actions. He believed your birth month reveals which archetypal forces resonate most deeply with you, shaping your strengths and challenges. It's a bit like holding a compass. If you can't read it, you'll wander aimlessly. But when you understand how to interpret it, your journey becomes clear. Ever wonder why some people naturally command attention, effortlessly taking charge, while others captivate with creativity or empathy? That's not luck, it's archetypal energy at work. Some of us are born pioneers, blazing trails and inspiring action. Others naturally tune into the emotions around them, offering empathy and comfort effortlessly. And then there are those endlessly curious souls, always seeking deeper truths and connecting with life's spiritual dimensions. But what happens when you ignore or suppress your natural energy? When you try to force yourself into roles you were never meant for? Life starts feeling unnecessarily hard, like you're swimming upstream. It's like planting a sunflower in soil that's just not right. No matter how hard you try, it won't thrive. Maybe you're feeling this exact frustration right now, trying to fit into a role that doesn't match who you truly are, while your genuine potential lies hidden, waiting to be discovered. Carl Jung believed real change starts when we bravely turn inward and confront what we've avoided for too long. He compared self-awareness to flipping a switch in a dark room. Suddenly, things that were invisible become clear, and what once seemed threatening begins to make sense. So let's start flipping that switch together. Ask yourself honestly, what does my birth month reveal about who I really am? Just for a moment, consider that your birth wasn't random, but part of a larger design, that every challenge and strength you've encountered has a deeper purpose. The key lies in reading these subtle signals and consciously shaping the life you genuinely desire. You see, everything you need is already within you, you just haven't learned how to access it yet. Historically, people looked up at the stars to find guidance. Today, that guidance is already inside of us. Have you ever noticed how certain seasons deeply affect your mood, energy, and outlook? It's no accident. It's the subtle influence of your birth moment shaping your life path. But let's clarify something crucial. Understanding these patterns doesn't mean your destiny is predetermined, quite the opposite. Jung taught us that by recognizing these archetypal energies, we can break free from repetitive cycles and take control. It's not about forecasting your future. It's about getting to know yourself on a deeper level so you can make wiser, more conscious choices. Before we dive deeper, pause and reflect on this question. What are you really searching for in your life? You might not have a clear answer yet, but I promise by the end of this exploration, you'll gain a fresh perspective. You'll start seeing every experience, the joys and setbacks, victories and struggles, as part of a meaningful pattern. And once you recognize this pattern, even your toughest moments will reveal valuable lessons. So if you've ever felt there's something significant within you waiting to be discovered, stick with me. What you're about to uncover might just be the key to unlocking your hidden potential. Carl Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate." Now is your chance to take control. Now that you've begun recognizing this connection, get ready, because in the next segment, we'll dive even deeper. We'll explore precisely how your birth month-specific energy shapes your emotions, decisions, and even the opportunities that come your way. Your journey of self-discovery is only just beginning. Have you ever felt like you're trapped in an invisible loop? Like no matter how much you grow or evolve, you somehow find yourself returning to the same frustrating patterns. Maybe it's a relationship that keeps failing, a promising job that always ends up disappointing you, or just that quiet, persistent sense that you don't quite belong, that everyone else is moving forward while you're drifting off course. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you're definitely not alone. Countless people get stuck in this cycle without ever realizing what's actually causing it. But here's where Carl Jung left us a powerful insight. What you perceive as fate or bad luck could actually be part of a deeper, cosmic rhythm, and you're not just a passive participant. You're also the one choreographing the dance. Jung strongly believed that the patterns shaping our lives aren't random or meaningless. They're intricately connected to both our inner world and the larger universe. He compared life to a river flowing downstream, always moving forward despite obstacles and bends along the way. Yet, the river's path isn't random. It's shaped by forces that we may not immediately see but are undeniably present and influential. One of the strongest of these forces is the moment you were born, not just astrology or planets, but something deeper, something psychological and symbolic, the archetypal energies that peaked at the exact time of your birth. Let me introduce you to Anna to make this clearer. Anna is 48, a literature teacher whose life from the outside looks perfectly balanced. She's got a stable career, a cozy home, 2 grown children, and a supportive husband. Yet underneath her calm exterior, Anna struggles with a nagging sense of urgency. Since her early 20s, she's felt she's always chasing something just out of reach. Every time her life begins to stabilize, something comes along, a tough boss, financial worries, or that familiar feeling of inadequacy, causing her to doubt everything she's worked so hard for. She wonders, why does everything have to be so hard? Will it always feel like this? What Anna hasn't realized yet is that this struggle is deeply connected to the month she was born, April. April carries a fiery, pioneering energy meant for people who naturally lead, take action, and build things from scratch. But as Jung emphasized, every energy has its shadow side. For Anna, this shadow shows up as constant impatience and harsh self-criticism. She feels compelled to keep moving, always driven to achieve more, yet it never feels like enough. This subconscious pattern influences all her decisions and reactions to life's inevitable challenges. But here's the crucial insight Jung gave us. Anna isn't doomed to repeat this cycle forever. By becoming consciously aware of these hidden patterns, she can change them. She can learn to balance her powerful drive for action with moments of pause and reflection. She can discover that strength doesn't always mean pushing harder. Sometimes, true strength lies in knowing when to rest, when to slow down. Now consider Roberto, a 57-year-old mechanical engineer approaching retirement. Roberto's been the classic provider, putting everyone else's needs ahead of his own. He's always believed that success means financial stability and respect in his field, and for many years that belief worked well. He built a solid career, raised a family, and secured their financial future. But now, with retirement looming, Roberto feels empty. The success he once valued seems meaningless, and he's starting to question everything he's worked so hard for. Born in May, Roberto carries the energy of stability, security, and bridging material and spiritual worlds. For most of his life, he embraced this energy positively, creating a strong foundation for himself and his loved ones. Yet every energy, Jung taught us, has its shadow side. Roberto's shadow manifests as an excessive need for control and a deep fear of uncertainty. As retirement approaches, he's confronted with the void he's always avoided. He's been so busy creating security that he's forgotten to ask himself, what truly makes me happy? Jung believed that our unconscious mind always finds a way to speak, through dreams, emotions, or life events that seem to derail us. Roberto's emptiness isn't a sign of failure. It's a call to explore an inner world he's long neglected. To find fulfillment, he'll need to embrace uncertainty, let go of rigid control, and trust that life's unexpected turns can also bring beauty and purpose. Can you see parallels between these stories and your own experiences? Maybe you've been walking down a path that felt right once but no longer aligns with who you truly are. Perhaps you've ignored your own signals, your body, your heart, until they became impossible to ignore. But here's the hopeful truth. It's never too late to rewrite your story. This cosmic dance that Jung described isn't about being trapped. It's about recognizing opportunities for self-discovery. Understanding these archetypal energies helps you harness them positively. If you were born in January, perhaps you've always felt driven to lead, but mistakenly believed you must carry every burden alone. If you're a July baby, your natural empathy might feel draining, but once properly understood, it can be your greatest strength. Jung often said that self-awareness doesn't eliminate life's challenges. Rather, it equips us to face them wisely. Recognizing your life's patterns means shifting from seeing yourself as a victim of circumstance to the author of your own narrative. Suddenly, change doesn't feel impossible. It makes perfect sense. Think back to a difficult moment in your life, maybe a painful breakup, losing a job, or even a health crisis. In those moments, it's common to wonder, why is this happening to me? But what if these experiences aren't punishments but invitations to growth? Jung emphasized that life's cosmic dance isn't about avoiding hardship, but about finding balance in confronting challenges and learning from them. Understanding your archetypal energies, shaped by your birth month, gives you clarity and strength. No matter your age, 30, 50, 65, self-awareness has no expiration date. The deeper you dive into your inner world, the closer you get to a life truly aligned with your purpose. So, are you ready to look inward and uncover the energies guiding your journey? Because the moment you do, the cosmic dance becomes your greatest ally. In the next part, we'll uncover how to identify these specific energies and actively use them to transform your reality. As Jung famously said, the unconscious is always speaking, if only we listen. Have you ever paused to think about just how much your environment at birth shapes who you become? Not just the physical location, but the season, the weather, even the subtle details like the sunlight or the gentle rain tapping on the window at your very first breath. That singular moment, far beyond a simple biological event, became the foundation of an invisible story you've been carrying your entire life. Carl Jung saw the moment of birth as far more profound than most people realize. He explained it as the initiation into what he called the collective unconscious, a psychological reality connecting all humans through universal symbols, known as archetypes. Your first breath wove an invisible thread between you and the universe, bridging your external experiences and internal emotions. But here's the catch. If you aren't aware of this connection, you might spend your whole life ignoring the subtle signals guiding you toward true fulfillment. Take a moment now and reflect honestly. Are you living a life that truly resonates with you, or are you stuck living out someone else's expectations? That lingering sense of misalignment could come from simply not recognizing the deeper patterns shaping your journey. Jung warned us that if we ignore these subtle messages from our unconscious, they'll find other ways to get our attention, through dreams, recurring problems, or even physical illness. Think about your life. Have you ever noticed the same issues popping up repeatedly, or felt like you're constantly battling something invisible? If so, perhaps it's time to pay attention to what your birth itself has been trying to tell you. Consider the story of Pedro. For years, Pedro believed he was on the perfect path. He climbed the corporate ladder to executive level, earned respect and financial security, and seemed on the brink of achieving even greater success. Yet just as he was about to be promoted, he experienced something unexpected, a panic attack. Suddenly, everything Pedro thought he controlled unraveled overnight. The work he loved became unbearable, leaving him desperate to walk away, but confused as to why. So what went wrong for Pedro? Born in September, he carried an archetype closely tied to perfectionism and order. From childhood, he learned responsibility, duty, and the pursuit of excellence. Initially, these traits served him incredibly well. However, every archetypal energy has a shadow side. Pedro's was relentless self-criticism. He could never celebrate his successes because he always focused on what wasn't good enough. This constant internal pressure eventually boiled over, forcing him to confront what he'd suppressed for so long. Think about your life for a moment. How often have you buried your true feelings because the timing didn't seem right to express them? How often have you pushed yourself harder, ignoring that inner voice quietly warning, "Something isn't right," simply because others expected you to be strong? Jung made it clear, what you repress doesn't vanish, it waits for the moment to resurface, often during a crisis. But here's the hopeful part. Self-awareness can turn crises into profound turning points. Pedro eventually learned he didn't have to abandon his career. Instead, he shifted how he approached it. He became kinder to himself, celebrating accomplishments without demanding perfection. Understanding that the archetype of perfectionism could empower rather than hinder, he found balance, becoming a more compassionate leader who recognized limits, both his and others. Now it's your turn. What archetype might be silently guiding your life? Don't underestimate the power of discovering this. Some people naturally lead, like those born in January or April, full of ambition and courage. Others, born in July, carry deep emotional sensitivity, a gift that, if not managed carefully, can lead to emotional burnout. December babies often bring optimism and enthusiasm, yet risk losing their identity by seeking too much external validation. Reflect honestly. How has your birth month shaped your decisions so far? Are you living the brighter or shadow side of your archetype? Maybe, like Pedro, you've sensed a hidden pattern without fully exploring it yet. Recognizing that pattern is the first crucial step toward changing it. Jung compared self-awareness to exploring a darkened room with a flashlight. You must be brave enough to shine the light into those corners you've been avoiding. One of those overlooked corners might be the belief systems you've unconsciously inherited from your environment. If you grew up believing success only comes from struggle and sacrifice, you've likely internalized that as absolute truth. But ask yourself honestly, is that what you genuinely want? Are these beliefs helping or limiting you? Here's a relatable example. Helena, 52, spent her life convinced true love meant sacrifice. She constantly prioritized her partner's needs, neglecting her own, and repeatedly found herself in unfulfilling relationships. Born in February, Helena carried the archetype of empathy and emotional healing. This gift made her deeply compassionate, but also meant she risked losing herself completely to others. Only after recognizing this hidden pattern did Helena transform her relationships. She realized genuine empathy starts with self-care and learned that healthy boundaries aren't selfish, they're necessary. By loving herself first, Helena became even better at supporting others in a balanced, fulfilling way. Helena's story holds a powerful lesson. Archetypes aren't burdens, they're opportunities. If you notice repeating patterns in your life, instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" Jung believed true healing happens when we shift our perspective from seeing challenges as obstacles to viewing them as valuable teachers. Now, before we wrap up, I encourage you to pause and reflect in the comments. Which patterns in your life could be linked to your birth month? Sharing your experiences might reveal that others share your struggles. Together, you can find new insights and ways to grow. Remember, every archetype has its purpose. By consciously working with these energies, they become powerful allies. In our next conversation, we'll dive deeper into how exactly you can use these archetypes practically to transform your reality, turning your hidden shadows into sources of strength. Because as Carl Jung powerfully said, where your fear is, there lies your greatest potential. Now imagine your life as a journey, not a rigid path, but a dynamic road filled with unexpected detours and new discoveries. Maybe you felt like you were in control, only to be surprised by destinations you never planned for. Sound familiar? It's that strange feeling of living by routine yet being drawn by something greater, toward paths you didn't consciously choose. But here's the empowering truth. You're not just a passive passenger, you're the driver. Jung taught us that the unconscious mind doesn't simply influence decisions, it actively creates our life patterns. If we ignore them, we're destined to repeat them. But what does recognizing and breaking a pattern really mean? It means embracing the fullness of who you are, the light and the shadows, and consciously choosing your path. Your life is waiting for you to step fully into it. The patterns you've faced aren't random punishments. They're invitations to explore yourself deeply and grow beyond your limitations. The power to transform isn't somewhere out there. It's already within you. All you need to do is become aware of it and choose to embrace it. Your cosmic dance has always been yours. It's finally time to take the stage and dance boldly.